My name's Sam Cleasby and I'm from the website So Badass. It is the season to be jolly. We're in Christmas time. I've got my Christmas tree up. I've got the best Christmas jumper in the world on. And we're thinking forward for the New Year's resolutions for 2015. So mainly I'm hoping to be well, because for the last 11 years now I've had ulcerative colitis and I've dealt with all the ups and downs of illness, remission, medication, surgeries, so much stuff. And so here are my New Year's resolutions for 2015. So number one, put my health first. After a really tough year, so I've had 2 surgeries. I had my subtotal colectomy and ileostomy formed, and then in May this year I had my J pouch. So after a really hard time, it started making me think about looking at my health. And so just putting my health first. You know, it's really easy to put yourself to the back of the queue, especially if you're a parent and you've got children to think about. But it's really important that we put our health first. And so in 2015, I'm planning to do that. I'm committing now to using a food diary, because when you have a J pouch or an ostomy, it's really difficult to learn about the foods that are good for you, the foods that are going to set you off. And I think a really great way to do that is using a food diary. And so I'm committing to you now that I'm going to use it. Other things that I'm thinking about doing is trying to do a bit more exercise, even though it's a little bit of a struggle at the minute because I am dealing with a hernia. And finally, really thinking about my emotional and my mental health. So my second New Year's resolution is be more open. Now, I run an IBD blog and I talk about poo an awful lot. So some people may think that I'm already open enough. But actually, despite that, I really do sometimes struggle with being open about how I'm dealing with things emotionally and mentally. And so 2015 for me is going to be looking at my mental health as much as I do my physical health, because I think it's really important to document that through all my illness and my surgeries, where I talk an awful lot about the physical aspects of it, that actually there's a really strong mental and emotional change that needs to be made. And so my second New Year's resolution is to be a lot more open. And I think that's a really great thing for all of us to do, to talk more about it. We all know how isolating it can be to have inflammatory bowel disease, to live with an ostomy, to live with a J pouch. And we all have the ability to be an advocate, not just for ourselves, but for other people. And so I think that we should all try and be a little bit more open. Be more adventurous. So I want to be more adventurous. I want to say yes more. As I'm starting to get my health back, it's a really exciting time for me. Last year I did go travelling. I went to Vietnam and I went to Australia with my husband and my children. It was fantastic. But I think I'm thinking more about the little adventures that we can all have every day. The times where we say yes to the things that frighten us. Because as somebody who's had massive surgery, I've faced the toughest of times. I've had the hardships. And so really, what can be that scary? I've found out that I'm a really tough person. And so yeah, I think I'm gonna be a little bit more adventurous, say yes, and live life to the fullest. Stop poo being taboo. And so it's really important to me that I raise awareness through my website, through Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, about Crohn's and colitis, about inflammatory bowel disease, about ostomies, ileostomies and colostomies, and about J pouches, and just about life with IBD, because we've got 260,000 people in the UK living with Crohn's or colitis. And so what we all really need to do is stop poo being taboo. And so I come to the end of my New Year's resolutions for 2015. Thank you so much for watching. You can find out more about me at sobadass.me, or on www.opus-healthcare.co.uk. This has been Sam Cleasby for So Badass and Opus Healthcare. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic Christmas, have an amazing New Year, and we'll see you in 2015.